parcel delivery, which itself has led to huge demand for warehousing space. The supermarkets are big users of these spaces too, of course, and warehouses are a very important piece of the supply chain when you see big spikes in demand, as we have done in recent weeks. But given the collapse in the wider economy and the shutdown in construction, it looks now like there's going to be a shortage in the amount of warehouse space available here. That's according to estate agent Savills. And to discuss this further, I'm joined by Peter Levins from the Industrial and Logistics Division at Savills. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Gavin.
So those sectors I've just mentioned, supermarkets and parcel delivery, would they have been the big drivers of the increase in demand over the last few years?
Yes, there's obviously a wide range of sectors operating in the logistics and industrial sector. Everything from convenience and retail shopping to pharmaceutical and your mainstay of logistics and e-commerce being what we call the 3PL or the third-party logistics companies who are carrying out both warehousing service and logistics or transport service for goods and services.
So spell out for me why you think there will be a shortage as of now.
Well, currently we've anticipated there's about 475,000 square feet of brand new space was due to be built in 2020. Now, about 60% of that's already pre-let or pre-committed. And what's interesting is the balance of that space, which was due to be completed later this year, is now unlikely to occur. So we have a hiatus of supply no longer coming to the market for what we believe is a very strong backbone or foundation of demand for that space.
And does this issue, I presume it will extend into next year as well?
Absolutely. We'd anticipated about 1.17 million square feet were due to be delivered next year, 2021. Now, again, because of COVID-19, I think that's going to dial back, and I believe probably about 800,000 square feet may only be delivered next year. So that's an overall reduction of about 33% in the supply of this new stock from now to the end of 2021. And it's important to understand that that's a supply piece. On the flip side of that, it's demand. And we've identified there's certainly over 1.2, 1.3 million square feet of demand for this new modern logistics space. And it's important to note that's a demand for new modern stock, which is efficient and operates for the requirements and needs of these modern logistics companies.
So when you say it's efficient, what you mean there is, if they don't get this, you're possibly looking at price increases or whatever else for end users, the people who are buying the stuff off the online sites, etc.
Yes, what you need to have good functioning warehouse space, which is efficient. So that requires good loading facilities, high eaves in the warehouse space, so people and occupiers can stock and operate their businesses more efficiently, and that allows them to price themselves better, and that has an ultimate positive effect on the end consumer.
Now, you're talking about demand, Peter, and that you think there's a very strong foundation level of demand. But what makes you so confident about that? Because, we're saying here there's going to be less space available, but maybe the demand from end users, or in other words, the people who might be buying stuff online or whatever, maybe that demand will fall so much that the same amount of space won't be required, and actually there won't be a shortage at all.
Very valid point, Gavin. I think you have to recognise that the foundation of demand for logistics and warehouse space is consumption. And people need stuff. It needs to be warehoused. It needs to be transport. And we have to be very cognizant that, yes, consumption has dialed back because of COVID. But I think leaving that aside, it's important to understand there are a cohort of large logistics companies who are operating in this space who need to either consolidate the space that they're currently operating from, or they need to move into this new, modern, more efficient and sustainable properties.
Yeah, and you mentioned sustainable. I presume climate change is an important factor for these guys in terms of, trying to get somewhere that's properly insulated, efficient when it comes to electricity and all these things.
Yeah, I think you look at a lot of the existing stock of warehouse space in Dublin. It's obviously been built 20, 30 years ago or more. The new modern stock is obviously being built to the standards of the current or the new building regulations. That allows that space to be much more efficient, but also much more sustainable. And you will find that a lot of the large and particularly international logistics companies, they have their own CSR responsibilities. They are demanding and requiring more sustainable and efficient space for their needs. And that's what this new space will deliver.
Yeah, and obviously if it's put on pause, it's harder for them to get it. Now, speaking of international companies, we've seen Amazon coming in and taking up a lot of space now. So presumably that's going to make it harder for everyone else to get the space that they want.
Well, Amazon is only one of several occupiers who have been seeking space over the course of the last year. Amazon is only one of those suppliers, and I think what's important to note is with Amazon there will also be other winners. So you look at some of the other 3PL or logistics companies who will be feeding from Amazon's own requirements and servicing them directly. Again, those individuals will be looking for space to service Amazon and such like, particularly on the e-commerce piece.
Yeah, going to be very interesting to see how that works out for the sector. Obviously, Amazon have been servicing Ireland from their operations in the UK. Now they're kind of setting up here, so they should be able to increase delivery times and all that. And obviously, the delivery companies will probably benefit from what's going on. We'll leave it there, Peter. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. That's Peter Levins from the Industrial and Logistics Division at Savills. We'll have the latest on business and consumer sentiment in just a moment.